Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my quick review for Tomorrowland, a Brad Bird directed, Damon Lindelof written Disney film based around the theme park, or the portion of the theme park of Disneyland or World, I can't remember which one. Whatever. So Tomorrowland's a movie I was really looking forward to. And whenever the trailer showed up in the theater, and whenever there was a new trailer out, I was really giddy. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a really great live-action Disney movie. We haven't had an amazing one in a very long time, and then this one looks like it was gonna be like a classic. I'm sorry, the trailers looked amazing. I couldn't wait for this movie. And I mean, Cinderella was great, but it wasn't like a classic, in my opinion. I mean, it was a classic story, sure, but it wasn't going to be a classic. This movie looked like it was going to be that, and man, I'm just going to get straight into it. This movie disappointed me to no end. It was a movie that had a lot of great ideas. Damon Lindelof is that guy that has so many good ideas. He just doesn't know how to present them in a script. It feels like he writes it out. He's like, oh, and then this, and then this. In the future, it's gonna be like this. It should be like this. You should think like this, and this. And he just doesn't know how to do it well with a script. And you know what? I wasn't worried about that because we had freaking Brad Bird. Brad Bird made an amazing Mission Impossible movie. He made a superhero movie that was made by Pixar that was amazing, which I guess that's not really a hard thing to do if you think about it. It's Pixar and superheroes. Those are two great things that go together well. But he made one of the best Pixar movies ever. He made Iron Giant, a movie that literally can go on for 24 hours on Cartoon Network, and I could watch it. Maybe not 24 hours, but I could watch it over and over again and not feel like, hey, I've seen this already, I'm getting bored. I'll be like, oh man, then this part comes up, and then the ending, and then Superman. I love that movie. He's made some great freaking movies, and I couldn't wait for this, and man, it disappointed me. It really was a disappointment. The movie is called Tomorrowland, and I get the whole point. It was supposed to be like, Tomorrowland, we're not really ready for it right now, but it will happen one day. It's supposed to be optimistic, like, it's gonna happen, don't worry. This whole thing's gonna be like, really cool and stuff. And man, like, that was a good idea, but they freaking spent 2 minutes in Tomorrowland, and then in the cool Tomorrowland where people are flying around and stuff, and then the rest was like desolate Tomorrowland and the regular Earth. And I was like, come on man, you built the freaking trailer up as, ooh, Tomorrowland. There's a scene in the movie where George Clooney's like, you want to see Tomorrowland? Here it comes. In the trailer, that line's in there, and it's like, oh man, we're going to see Tomorrowland, it's going to be fun. And man, that 2 minutes was fun, but that's about it. And don't get me wrong, that's not my only problem with the film. It really isn't. Not saying I have like a ton of problems with it. I do have a few, but I have problems with the movie, not because of just, you know, you don't spend too much time in Tomorrowland. It's called Tomorrowland. They marketed it as like, oh, we're gonna be in Tomorrowland. It's gonna be fun. They marketed it like that, but they didn't like market it in the way that it's like, hey, the whole trailer is this Tomorrowland, look at all the zippy-doos and whatever, look at all this stuff happening. It's more like it's building up in the trailer, and then at the end, ooh, here's some Tomorrowland. In this movie, you see 2 minutes of Tomorrowland, then you see the aftermath of what happens to Tomorrowland at the end, and you also see a little bit of Tomorrowland in the beginning, but it's too much of like, you don't really get a good feeling of Tomorrowland in the beginning. You don't really get to see too much of it. But that 2 minutes, you do see a vision of it with the main character. It's actually pretty fun. That stuff I would like to see way more of. I would love to explore Tomorrowland more. Hell, I would even love a video game to come out where it's like you get to explore Tomorrowland, do all these activities and stuff, or you actually get to just play the story of the game, but you actually get to spend more time in Tomorrowland. That would have been awesome. But guess what? You don't get that. And I get why. It's supposed to be, like I said, it's supposed to be like, oh, we can have this. It's not here yet, but we can build it. We just need to be optimistic. We need to be, we need to really like believe in ourselves and what stuff and whatnot. And I like that message. It was just that it wasn't really conveyed well in the trailer. And when the movie came out, I felt like I was a little cheated myself, and I feel like a lot of people were. A lot of people were just like, you know, the script itself wasn't great. It had some good ideas. Some of it were actually well executed, especially the whole like George Clooney house sequence where these like androids come to like capture George Clooney and the girl main character, forgot her name. And that was actually a lot of fun. That was actually a really good sequence because it was very well shot, had a lot of inventive stuff with teleporting and stuff, and there was some really cool special effects with the androids whenever they got destroyed or something. There was a lot of really good stuff in there, and that's a good like 2 minutes right there. So good, a 2-hour movie, 4 minutes so far I can tell you are really good in this. But there's a lot of just like generic stuff with characters that are forgettable. There's a love story in there that's a little creepy, a little creepy-ish when you think about it, because George... I ain't gonna spoil it. You'll know what I'm talking about if you see the film. If you saw the film, I should say, because I think it's heading out of theaters pretty quickly. But, yeah, I mean, it just has... It doesn't have a lot going for it besides the ideas. And the ideas, like I said, aren't always well executed. There's a few that are, because Brad Bird is a great director. But even him, like, if he doesn't have a amazing script and characters that are really, like, something you want to see and like you want to see succeed, then you're just not gonna have a great film, and you really don't here. Hell, even when it gets to the ending where it's supposed to be like, oh, we have to stop the villain comes out of freaking nowhere. It feels like, even though he was in the beginning of the film. If you have a brain and you know this movie has a villain, then you can guess who the villain's going to be. The only other character you haven't seen in the film for a long time. But when you find out he's the villain, it's so just like they just threw it in there to have a villain, just to have a climactic ending. Which, by the way, the climactic ending is so lame in this film. It's really like, oh, a little struggle between two 55-year-old men, and then, oh, a robot comes and something happens, and then it's over. It's like Tomorrowland could be a thing we could do. Go out there and find people or whatever. It's not great. It's not a great film. I didn't love it at all, definitely. I liked parts of it. I would say I liked a lot of it, but most of what I liked is from the trailers or clips that I've seen. Yeah, I don't know. And when I mean a lot of it, I mean like a good 30 minutes of it, I would say I really liked it. And everything else was either boring or it was character development for characters I didn't really care for, and even the development wasn't great. I'm so disappointed by this film. I'm going to give it a 24 out of 40. There you go. That's my review. It went on longer than I thought it was going to be, but I had a lot to say. I just realized I have like a big thing on my arm. Can you see that? Ow, it hurts. Anyway, there you go. Thank you and goodbye. I don't know why I showed that off. Thank you and goodbye.